Good evening, guys, and happy Sunday to all of your sunshiny faces. So today, as far as getting things done, I actually didn't realize my mom has a doctor's appointment tomorrow that my dad is taking her to, so my dad's actually going to be home tomorrow, so we might be able to get a couple more things done in the attic, because today I was very proud. I told you guys how I was so upset because yesterday we were supposed to try and clean up the attic again, because I really feel like we're really close to being done. However, I spent the entire day yesterday going through just a box of my old school papers. I realized there's probably another, and I told you guys, I was I think there's at least another one box up there. No, when I was up there today, there's another 3 or 4 boxes, honestly. It's ridiculous. And not all of it is necessarily just school papers. Some of it's mine, some of it's Matthew, some of it's Jack's, but some of it was also just generalized school stuff, curriculum books or workbooks or whatever from when we were homeschooled too. So like I said, not all of it is necessarily just school papers, but it is honestly, again, a lot of this stuff is things that I probably went through already 5 boxes, and in total we only have 1 box of school papers that we have saved. So, but it's pretty much full, honestly. If we can get all of the school paper boxes, which like I said, I don't know, and between the backpacks and the stuff that I found in Matthew and Jack's bedroom even too, and the stuff that I used to have in my bedroom, which was a long time ago, I think I finally got rid of it 2 years after I was in high school. But again, out of all of that, if I could condense all of it down to being 2 boxes of, or 2 totes worth of school papers, and again, some of this stuff isn't even necessarily and I could probably go through it again and sort of, like I said, refine all of this stuff and be I really don't need that, that's not something that's sentimental, I could probably get rid of that. Again, I could probably go through it again and maybe then condense it all down into 1 box, but for right now I'm just sort of oh, if that was cute, or oh, that was funny, or whatever. Again, some of my writings, I found this one writing, it was a story I wrote in, I think, 2nd grade, about how our dog was apparently in the backyard and my parents thought he got out and that he had dug a hole. I don't remember this story being real. I think maybe it was a little bit slightly true, but I exaggerated it maybe a little bit more just to make it into a story. But it was probably something what happened was our dog was in the backyard and my parents originally didn't see him in the backyard and saw that there was a hole and thought maybe he got underneath the fence. Well, that was sort of how I wrote the story, but it could have been, or maybe the hole never even existed, something like that, but whatever. So I went to go look for him in the backyard and I found him in the backyard and I saw the hole and realized that he was too fat. This was literally my words. I was he was too fat to fit in the hole to get underneath the fence or whatever. And so like I said, I don't remember that actually happening. I remember there being a slight sort of hole, not in the fence, but it was actually there's a piece of the fence that was broken off, but he could not fit through it. So I think maybe that was, like I said, where the story originated from, and so then that's when I ended up turning it into an actual story in 2nd grade, because like I said, we had to write it for something. There was a lot of stories that I remember writing in 2nd grade, and some of them I can't find. I'm a little upset about it too, because my grandparents actually, they used to have a boat in, goodness, where was it? I want to say it was the Bahamas, perhaps. I believe that's right. So they used to have a boat and it used to be down there, and they lived on the boat for several years, and so I remember writing a story specifically about that. And again, I remember writing a different story about my dogs as well. And so like I said, but I haven't come across those ones. Those are the ones that I actually care a little bit about. I don't know why, I just vividly remember writing at least, like I said, the one about the boat, because I remember it was really cool when we got to write stories. We'd have to go through the whole the drafting process, and then we would write the story, and our teacher would make corrections on it, oh, you need to put a period, or exclamation mark or question mark after whatever you were writing and stuff like that. Normally they were just super easy, it'd be a 5-page book and each page had a sentence on it, literally. Because like I said, it was 2nd grade, we were not you know, writers or anything like that, but the cool thing was that we got to illustrate each page, and so we did get to do like coloring. So like I said, I remember drawing a picture of the boat on the front like cover of it, and I remember doing like a little boat, and like I said, I think it was even blue, like we did them in like construction paper, and I think it was like a blue construction paper like little, like I said, book, and then again we just like folded over and like stapled the sides and stuff like that. But they were like really cute, like little, like I said, those were like probably my favorite part of second grade, was actually like doing that for some reason. That was one of the years when I went to school. I was homeschooled most of my elementary school though. But like I said, that was like one of the only things like I really remember that. And like I remember too like reading one story about, it was the one about the chameleon, I forget what it's called. Something about, it's one of those popular ones though, but it's about the chameleon that like changes colors and stuff like that, you know, like to blend into his surroundings or whatever it is. I almost want to say it's called The Colorful Chameleon, but it was something like that. I remember reading that, and I remember the book we had too was about like that, like I remember the book that we had for reading. I remember a couple of the stories specifically in there. But like I said, I remember doing like that, you know, like I said, the book sort of thing in second grade too, like getting to draw and actually like make and write our books. So like I said, I don't remember what the one about my grandparents' boat was. I just remember I wrote that story. And I remember, like I said, now reading this one about the dogs, but it wasn't in the same format as the other ones that we did. So that's why I don't really remember. That could have even been one that I didn't do in second grade. I might have done that actually when I was homeschooled. But like I said, that was just one of the stories that I went through yesterday. And like that kind of stuff are the things that like I would hang on to, like, you know, those funny little stories and, you know, that kind of stuff. So like I said, between all three of us, who Jack is now a junior in high school, you know, we have decent amount of, you know, again, notebooks, little journals, stories, you know, again, some tests maybe we did really well on, you know, awards we won or something like that for school, you know, whatever it might be. And like I said, I feel like having 1 to 2 boxes worth of school supplies, and also too like our artwork and stuff like that too, that it's not that bad. Like at first I was like, geez, it seems like we're like have a lot of stuff, but I was like, honestly, and again, I feel like maybe we could go through it a little bit more, but some of this stuff is just, like I said, sort of sentimental and funny to go back and like read it now, where I was like, I still ended up spelling some of those words wrong that, like, you know, we went over in, you know, the story and stuff like that. But anyways, yeah, so like I said, those are the type of things that I like hanging on to, but I found, like I said, more boxes of that stuff in the attic that I still have not finished going through, and I have to. But what we did do today was we went through and we wrote down like every single box what we have in the attic, because right now I would say 3/4 of the attic is all cleaned and organized and everything is in boxes, but the boxes are all sort of strewn about a little bit and not like in the right places and stuff like that. And so we wanted to put in one end of the attic stuff that we probably don't use as much, stuff that we don't need to get into, like old stuffed animals, school papers. I think that we ended up putting, like, we have a bunch of like sort of special like jerseys and shirts like from when Matthew and Jack played football. Like there's a box of like those things. I think we have maybe some of my grandma's like sweaters from, like, you know, since she's passed away, we hung on to some of those. I think my christening outfits, or, you know, like something like that, like some of those, again, special things that my mom is very sentimental about as well. We save some of those, like we have a box of that, but we don't need to get into that regularly. It's just something that like you save and you sort of pass on. Like my dad still has like shirts from like when he played like baseball, young adult, like out of high school, sort of. Like I know he played softball, and I think he had like a softball shirt. I know he had actually like a penny from his high school football team, I think, which I don't know that maybe he did play on it, I don't remember. But he had it. So like I said, I think he did, but he also went to a different high school and like switched, so I don't know. And anyways, so I know he has some of that kind of stuff, and like those are things again like he keeps because they're sentimental to him. So like I said, we have some of that stuff as well, and then we ended up throwing all of that like sort of into one box. But again, so like that kind of stuff that we don't need to get to it regularly. So I organized, we went through and I wrote down the name of every single box that we had in the attic. Then I tried to piece together and figure out where all of the stuff will best sort of fit in the attic. And again, also too, like stuff that we need to access more. Like again, those specialty shirts and jerseys and clothes and stuff like that, again, it's just sort of sentimental stuff we're keeping. We don't need to keep in somewhere that needs to be accessed, versus like tablecloths. We keep all of our tablecloths up in the attic because we have a lot. I think I did put though like holiday ones specifically with our holiday stuff, but we do still have like a lot of different either tablecloths or, and you know, they're just sort of big and bulky, and like our laundry room is not very big, and so we keep a lot of the, you know, like other things that we do need to access regularly in there. But like tablecloths, again, we change out every so often, and like there's ones that are more like summer ones and ones that are more like, you know, sort of like winter ones that my mom would more use for that. And although again they're not like a specific holiday sort of ones, there's again ones that are more like, you know, also to like match the kitchen currently, because over the years the kitchen has gone through different sort of changes, I guess, and color schemes a little bit. So some of that stuff has sort of changed. So like some of them aren't really ones that we're like, oh, we might not use these anymore or whatever, or they might just be really, really basic ones, but we have stuff that we sort of rotate in with the actual color scheme. So like I said, it just sort of depends, but like that kind of stuff we need to access a little bit more often. There's also like a box of Matthew and Jack's like video game sort of stuff, like older things that they don't use on a regular basis, but things that they might wind up using. So like that kind of stuff we need to keep maybe more in, like I said, the front sort of part of the attic versus stuff that we don't need to get to, you know, in a different part. So that's what I did today, and we didn't completely get it done. We got all the stuff moved to one section. We had it all cleaned out. I was telling you guys it was sort of the last area that we had to do, as far as like sort of broke it up into like 4 quadrants of the attic, and it was sort of the last one, and we finished that then today completely. Swept out everything, moved everything that was sort of over there, because there was like some random pieces of wood up there, I don't know why. But then we ended up sliding all the bins into place, and now there's other ones in the other 2 sections that are already organized where we had bins that we need to get cleaned, or you know, just more like organized and set straight, and like I said, so that there's easy access to some of those things. So anyways, like I said, we ended up going through that and did that for most of the day today. I did not get up very early, but I'm hoping that tomorrow, since my dad will be home, we will be able to maybe at least finish up, like I said, just getting those 2 sections, just the bins organized. Like everything's clean there. We already swept out everything. There's no like loose stuff sitting around anywhere. It's just the bins need to be moved and then put back into a place where they're going to belong. And also too, again, so that there's easy access to some of those places. So like I said, that's really what has to be done. And then we just really need to work on sort of the last quadrant of the attic, which mainly is just all of our holiday stuff. I mean, there's other sort of random things and stuff that's fallen out of bins and stuff like that that's still sort of loose on the floor right now in that section, but and we need to go over too, because like I realized we had some bins for like Christmas stuff that like isn't fitting Christmas stuff in it properly, and we might need more bins because some of them are overflowing, and that's when stuff then ends up on the floor, is because it doesn't fit in the box properly. So like we need to again sort of go through all that and put the stuff out in the proper place and where it actually belongs. So like I said, that's sort of the last part of the attic then that we have to get done. But now we're getting into like the fine-tuning of organizing, and then from there too, I'd like to sort of go over and organize too. Like we have, I think, 3 bins of books up in the attic, and I'd like to go through and maybe organize them into different like sections, more like, you know, there's some books that are like sentimental books that we ended up keeping again as well, and ones that my mom is like, I don't want to get rid of these ones. Like they were ones that she's had since she was little, and so, you know, they're like kid books though, so we're probably not going to read them regularly. So like more of like the, again, more books that we might actually read, maybe actually keep those more closer out in front, you know, and organize the bins though based on like sort of what that looks like ones that we probably won't be accessing, but we're just keeping more for sentimental reasons, possibly go in one bin. Then ones that we'll probably go through, read, you know, that kind of stuff, or use more often, go in another bin. And, you know, like I said, that fine-tuning that, but it's not something that has to be done right now. It's just something that, like I said, I personally would like to do, so that if I'm like, oh, I really wanted to find this book, or, you know, my mom's like, oh, can you find that book from like one, you know, like my childhood book or whatever it might be, you know, I know where to find it. Or if I'm like, oh, I really want to sort of read something and I don't really know what it is I want to read, I might go up in the attic, and I've got plenty of books though, guys, to read that are already in my room. That's the same thing too. I think I found The Great Gatsby up when we first started cleaning out the attic in like October or whatever it was. It's still sitting on my desk, still not finished reading it. I was like halfway through it and I'd never finished it. And that is where, like I said, my lack of finishing things ends up coming into play. And it's like, not that I don't want to, and it's not that it's like I was like so good for like several days. I read a chapter a night, and then all of a sudden one day I didn't, and then I stopped and I didn't ever pick the book up again. And now it's half read, still sitting somewhere over there on my little what's it called, my little nightstand. And so that's why, like I said, guys, I am just like, it's the same thing. Like, it doesn't matter if it's a TV show, it doesn't matter if it's a video game, it doesn't matter if it's a book. I feel like I never finish any of those type of entertainment things. It's just like I like get bored with it, or again, something comes up and I can't keep continuing it. And then all of a sudden I just totally, like I said, like split on it and I just don't finish it. So I don't know. I keep telling myself though, I'm like, I know that it's there now. Like, I know this has been brought back up to my attention. I need to finish it. So maybe tonight, guys, maybe tonight I will actually read instead of like watching TV before I fall asleep. We'll see if that happens. Anyways, though, I will see you guys all in tomorrow's vlog. If you guys did enjoy today's, make sure you guys give a big old thumbs up. If you guys are new, we'd love it if you'd subscribe, and I'll see all of your sunshiny faces tomorrow. So bye, guys.